She said, "I care about you, but it's not romantic love." I replied, "I get it. Thanks for your honesty." What she didn't know was that the engagement ring was in my car's glove box. I'm Ethan, 28M, and this happened with my girlfriend Ava, 26F, after 2.5 years together. We'd been living together in my downtown apartment for 18 months, and I thought things were going strong. Last Tuesday night, I was finalizing a report for my advertising agency when Ava walked into my home office with a grave look. She'd clearly rehearsed her speech, standing like she was about to pitch to a client. "Ethan, I need to be upfront with you about something," she began. "I have deep, genuine feelings for you, but they're not romantic. I value you so much as a person, but I'm not in love with you the way you deserve." I looked up from my laptop, processing her words. The engagement ring I'd bought 3 weeks earlier was in my car's glove box. I'd planned to propose that weekend at the lake, where we had our first date. "I get it," I said, keeping my tone steady. "Thanks for your honesty." She seemed shocked by my calm response, probably expecting tears, arguments, or a dramatic outburst. Instead, I went back to my report as if she'd just said she preferred tea over coffee. "That's it?" she asked, her voice rising. "You're not going to say anything else?" "What do you want me to say?" "I appreciate you being clear about where we stand. It's useful to know." She left the room looking confused and uneasy. That night, I overheard her on the phone with her friends, who were praising her for her courage and emotional maturity. They called it refreshing to have such open communication, and said how fortunate she was to have a partner who handled the truth so gracefully. What they didn't know was that I was mentally tallying the cost of our relationship and what it meant now that she'd essentially friend-zoned me after 2.5 years. I was also thinking about the proposal speech I'd rehearsed in front of the mirror and the romantic weekend retreat I'd reserved for next month. The next morning, I returned the ring to the jeweler, getting $3,000 back in my account. Just like that. The clerk gave me a sympathetic look when I explained, but I felt a strange relief. Sometimes the universe saves you from massive mistakes. I spent the day reflecting on Ava's words. She valued me in her life, but not in the way I thought we were heading toward. She enjoyed the perks of our relationship, but didn't want the emotional commitment of true love. Fair enough, but that changed how I'd handle our living arrangement moving forward. That evening, when she asked if I wanted to watch our usual TV series together, I politely declined, saying I had some things to sort out. She looked hurt, as if she couldn't fathom why her honest conversation had shifted anything between us. I realized she expected everything to stay the same, just without the expectation of her ever committing to a future with me. Update 1. It's been a month since Ava's candid talk, and I've treated her exactly as she requested, as a friend, not a romantic partner. The changes have been fascinating. First, I stopped doing all the boyfriend things I used to do instinctively. No more bringing her a morning cappuccino with almond milk, extra foam, and caramel drizzle from the pricey cafe 15 minutes out of my way. No more grabbing her favorite chocolate croissants on my way home. No more booking surprise dinners at restaurants she'd subtly mentioned on social media. When she asked why I wasn't making my signature Sunday waffles for us anymore, I explained that I cook breakfast for myself now, but she's free to use the kitchen after I'm done. Her expression was priceless, like she couldn't comprehend why her personal chef had retired. "But you love cooking for me," she said, watching me make a single serving of waffles. "I love doing things for someone I was in love with," I corrected. "Friends don't usually get daily breakfast service." Last week, when her tablet started lagging, she came to me as usual. I've always been the tech fixer, her laptop, her phone, setting up her smart TV, troubleshooting her audio gear for her small ceramic side hustle. "Hey, can you check this?" It's super slow and making weird sounds. "You should take it to an electronics store or call tech support," I said, not looking up from my work. "They'll run diagnostics and sort out any hardware issues." "But you always fix my tech problems. You're so good at it." I did that when we were dating, I said calmly. Friends don't typically provide free IT help. I'm sure a repair shop can handle it. The bathroom revealed how much I'd been subsidizing her lifestyle. I swapped out the $40 organic shampoos and $75 face creams for basic drugstore brands that cost a tenth as much. Gone were the luxury conditioners, serums, and face masks she adored. When she asked about it, I explained that I'd covered those costs as part of our relationship, but since we're friends now, we should split household expenses fairly. I didn't realize you were tracking shampoo costs, she said, sounding genuinely wounded. I wasn't tracking, I replied. I was buying nice things for us because I thought we were building a future. Friends usually handle their own toiletries. I also removed her from my Amazon Prime, Netflix, Spotify, and Apple TV accounts. When she couldn't order something with free shipping, I suggested she get her own Prime membership, since shared accounts are more for couples than friends. You're being petty, she said, when her Spotify cut off mid-song. I'm being appropriate, I corrected. Couples share streaming accounts. Friends have their own. Ava initially thought this was a temporary phase, telling her friends I'd get over it. She had no idea I'd permanently redefined our relationship based on her own words. The man who used to anticipate her needs and solve her problems before she asked was now a courteous roommate who set firm boundaries and expected equal contributions to shared costs. Update 2. Ava's birthday was last week, the ultimate test of our new friendship dynamic. In past years, I'd gone all out. For her 24th, I surprised her with a weekend getaway to Sonoma, complete with vineyard tours and a stay at a charming inn overlooking the hills. For her 25th, I threw a surprise party at the cocktail lounge where we met, hired a photographer to capture it, and had her favorite cake flown in from a renowned Seattle bakery she'd raved about after a work trip. That cost me around $2,000, but her joy made it worthwhile. This year, I sent a happy birthday text at 9 a.m. and gave her a $25 Starbucks gift card I grabbed during lunch. The contrast hit her hard. "This is really all you're doing for my birthday?" she asked that evening, holding the gift card like it was radioactive. "We can grab dinner if you want," I offered brightly. "Want to split the check at that new Mexican place? I hear their tacos are great." Her face cycled through emotions: confusion, hurt, disbelief, anger, then something like panic. "Split the check?" "Ethan, it's my birthday, exactly, which is why I got you the gift card," I said, pointing to the Starbucks card. "That should cover your half of dinner at most places." She stood there, probably realizing for the first time what just friends actually meant. She ended up ordering pizza delivery and ate alone while I went to my weekly trivia night with friends. Her book club, who'd cheered her brave honesty, was oddly unavailable for actual birthday support. When I got home at 11 p.m., she was on the couch, looking dejected, surrounded by pizza boxes from her solo dinner. "I can't believe you're treating me like this," she said, not looking up. "Like what?" "Like I don't matter to you anymore." I sat across from her, giving her my full attention. "Ava, I'm treating you exactly how you asked to be treated. You said you have feelings for me, but not romantic ones. This is what friendship looks like. Friends don't plan lavish birthday surprises or spend hundreds on celebrations. They send a nice text, maybe grab a casual meal if schedules align." The reality of her request was sinking in. But the real wake-up call came when she caught a cold 2 weeks later. In the past, I'd have taken a day off work, made homemade vegetable soup, hit the pharmacy for meds, and been her personal nurse until she was better. This time I texted, "Feel better soon. Stay hydrated," and went to work as usual. When she complained that I wasn't caring for her, I reminded her that romantic partners nurse each other back to health. Friends send get-well messages and maybe drop off soup if it's convenient. "You used to love taking care of me," she said, looking genuinely baffled and hurt. "I used to be in love with you," I replied matter-of-factly. "Now we're friends." The level of care is different. Final update. 3 months after Ava's declaration, I told her I'd put an offer on a townhouse in the suburbs and would move out when our lease ended. Her face drained of color. You bought a place? Without talking to me? I mentioned I was house hunting when you asked about my weekend plans. I didn't know friends needed to consult each other on major purchases. Our rent was $2,800 a month, and while we were supposed to split it 50-50, I'd been covering about 70% when you factored in utilities, Wi-Fi, and miscellaneous fees I paid without nitpicking. That's when the backpedaling began. Ethan, I think I made a terrible mistake, she said that night. I've been rethinking what I said about my feelings. I was wrong. I do love you, really, and I want us to try again. I gave her my full attention, like I would for any friend in distress. It sounds like you're under a lot of pressure right now. Big life changes often make people second-guess past choices. That's normal. I'm saying I want to be with you romantically again. I want to move to the new place with you and go back to how it was. I weighed her words carefully. I appreciate you sharing that, but romantic love needs mutual feelings from the start. When you clearly stated your boundaries 4 months ago, I accepted them and adjusted permanently. Friendship is what you offered, and that's what we have. But here's the real twist, and I should have mentioned this earlier. 2 weeks before I moved out, Ava's sister Lily pulled me aside while helping Ava pack. Ethan, I need to tell you something, she said, looking uneasy. Ava knew you were going to propose. She found the ring receipt in your car a month before her honesty talk. It all clicked. Ava had panicked when she saw proof of my proposal plans, but didn't want to lose the lifestyle I provided, so she thought she could friend-zone me while keeping all the relationship perks. She never expected me to actually treat her like a friend. When I confronted her, she broke down. I was scared, she admitted. I thought if we stayed friends, my feelings might grow over time. I thought you'd wait for me. Ava, you had 2.5 years with full access to my heart, my home, my support, and my future. The issue wasn't time or pressure. The issue was you were never truly in love with me. I've been in my new place for 4 months now, dating someone amazing. Claire, a web developer, made it clear from our first date that her feelings are undeniably romantic. When she saw my townhouse, she said it felt like a place where someone was genuinely happy to live. Ava had to move in with her parents after struggling to afford rent on her ceramics business income. Mutual friends say she now calls our relationship the one that got away, and finally sees the difference between someone who loved her and someone who just enjoyed her presence while it was convenient. The ring money helped with my down payment. Sometimes, the universe really does shield you from terrible mistakes, and sometimes the person you thought was your forever turns out to be the one you're far better off without.